Okay, hi guys. I'm Bob. Welcome back to Modern Life for the 70's Mind. I was talking to somebody online the other day, and they said, I really like your curiosities that you show at the beginning of your videos. And I'm like, wow, that just totally reminds me of a book series that I've been reading. Some of you may have heard about it, the Agent Pendergast novels. I think I'm on number 10 or something. It's a great series. If you're ever looking for a fun read, just search Agent Pendergast and you'll find it. One of the books was about a cabinet of curiosities. And when the person that I was writing said, I like your curiosities, I'm like, that's a perfect name for my segment. So I'm renaming my segment at the beginning Bob's Cabinet of Curiosities. Yeah, if you want to know what that all means, you can look it up. No need for me to explain it here. But what I want to go over today that I'm pulling out from my cabinet of curiosities is two different audio formats, or not just music, but audio formats. I have a big stockpile of all different formats over the history of music, and I wanted to show you a couple more today. This first one I'm going to be showing you is a piano roll. It comes in a box like this. Piano rolls were also called music rolls or word rolls. I don't know if this one says what it's called. Some of them will say like word roll stamped across it. This doesn't at all. All this basically was a roll of almost like construction paper. And I'll open it up a little bit so you can see. And there's holes in it. And what happens is the paper, when it's inserted into the piano, rolls over what's called a tracker bar. And as it crosses the tracker bar, the holes trigger a musical note. And that's what makes the piano play. These are actually still made today in very limited runs, though, because there are people that still have player pianos. And I guess they try to update them with more modern music. This one is actually called My Little Rambling Rose, and it's by the United States Music Company, and the name of the song was My Little Rambling Rose. This one, like I think I might have mentioned, this is, I think, from the early 1900s. So they're fun. It's kind of a fun thing to collect. I'm trying to figure out some way to mount this. If you haven't figured me out by now, I mount everything. Our walls are full of stuff. All right, the second thing that I want to show you, which until I started researching audio formats, I didn't even know this existed. This looks like fishing line, but what it is, it's actually a very thin. I don't know if you can see it on here. Maybe in the background you can see it a little bit. It's a very thin metal wire, and recording on wire was invented like in the late 1800s. I think the guy's name was like Vladimir Polton or something like that invented it. And it was in use probably through about the 1960s. At that point, magnetic tape took over, and these weren't used anymore. This spool of wire would last, it says here it lasts 30 minutes. I want to say, though, from reading, some of the later machines had different speeds, so you could slow it down, and that would give you probably twice the recording time, but you would take a hit on the sound quality. How these worked was that the wire would cross a recording head, and then it was magnetized as down the line as its polarity and intensity change from the audio signal. So it would just basically record on here. And if you think about it, it's not much different than tape. Tape has magnetic particles or metal particles on it and record. This is just a magnetic wire. And I guess to splice them, people would just cut it. Like if you wanted to slice something out, cut it, and then tie the two ends together that you wanted to keep, and then you would keep playing. So this one was made by the Webster Chicago Company. I'm going to throw in a bonus piece of information. Webster Chicago was the first company to make, here we go, to make a metal record adapter. I know I've spoken about metal adapters or record adapters in the past. This was the first one in the United States. that was made of metal. And it's this one, you can tell, is pretty early, probably from the 50s, because it even says patent applied for on the back. I'm sure you can't read that. But anyways, so if you ever come across this adapter, this is the first one that was made in the United States that was metal. The other ones that you normally see are those yellow plastic ones, although they came in all different colors, but the yellow seems to be the most popular. So that's my bit on the Cabinet of Curiosities. But I am going to throw in something else that's bonus. I was thinking when we were in the 60s and 70s, we came up with like some really cool words like peace, groovy, far out, boss, Bogart. All those words were really fun words that we came up with in the 60s and 70s. And there are some words now that older people, I guess I got to throw myself in that category, I'm not familiar with because it's the younger generation's phrases. But on the flip side, there's some phrases that we used that maybe the younger people don't know what it is. So I'm going to throw out one word for each category. And this one is directed for the younger people. If you've never heard this, I'm going to tell you what it means. The phrase is flub the dub. Flub the dub. I just love that. That means to evade some duty, or you botch something up. So that's called flub the dub. Now for you older people, if somebody walks up and says you're a goat, don't take that as a criticism, because GOAT apparently is an acronym for greatest of all time. So if anyone ever calls you a GOAT, take that as a compliment. All right, that's enough. Let's get to the reaction video. All right, let me get the my screen all set up, and I will be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. The song that I'm going to be reacting to is a song by Disturbed. It's a cover of a Sting song called If I Ever Lose My Faith in You. I'm not going to go into analyzing the lyrics. The song's like 10, 15 years old, something like that, I think, maybe older. And I think at a high level, it's about the power of relationships and how those are important during a crazy world, which probably fits in pretty well right now. We are definitely living through some challenging times in so many different ways. I want to listen instead to more of David's vocals and how he interprets a song and how he can possibly make this his own. I'm not a huge lover of this song. I always thought it was okay, but I never heard it on the radio and said, oh, I love this song. It was never like that. It was okay. And I'm hoping that David and Disturbed can change my opinion on that. So why don't we start it up and let's see where we go.
You could say I lost my faith in science and progress. You could say I lost my belief in religion. You could say I lost my sense of direction. You could say all of this and worse, but if I ever lose my faith in you, there'll be nothing left for me to do.
Okay, let's pause it there. At least so I can give you some initial thoughts. It looks like we're looking at another black and white video, same as Sounds of Silence, which usually when you're going black and white, you're trying to create some type of mood. And right from the start, I can tell this has a completely different feel to it than Sting's version. It's much darker, where Sting had almost like a kind of a pop jazz feel to it. This is more of a dark alternative feel, I believe. Nothing says a dark theme like when you saw the pollution pumping out of those smokestacks into the atmosphere. That's usually not a happy thing to see. But with that said, I do find this so far kind of hauntingly beautiful. And I hope that, kind of like with Sounds of Silence, I hope there's some type of slow build to it. I love songs like that. I'm really drawn into when a song that just keeps going stronger and stronger, because I mean, you just get sucked in further and further. So I like that part. All right, so let's keep going and see where this takes us.
Some would say I was a lost man in a lost world. You can say I lost my faith in the people on TV. You can say I lost my belief in our politicians. They all seem like game show hosts to me, but if I ever lose my faith in you, if I ever lose my faith, there'll be nothing left for me to do. If I ever lose my faith in you.
Okay, let's pause there. Not much really has changed since the last verse, of course. I don't think the tempo seems to be about the same. The strength of the song seems to be about the same. There's a little bit of a build. I'm loving David's voice. Darn, that guy can sing. It's important for him to make this his own, and I think he is, without a doubt. But he is also being really respectful, I believe, to the original, which I just like to see. I'm also wondering what made them choose this song. It's, to me, it just kind of seems like an unlikely choice for some reason. Honestly, I wouldn't think that they would even have a song like this on their radar. I'm guessing it just touched them somehow, and it might be just because of the lyrics and the environment that we're in today. I know this was, I believe, from 2020, so this would have been made, as COVID was really picking up. So I don't know if it spoke to them somehow, and maybe that's why they chose this song. But so far, they're doing a killer job on it. I hope they don't fall, though, into the let's recreate Sounds of Silence trap. I hate to see them do that by picking slower songs like this. I hate for them to start sounding almost like I'm trying to think of a band, like a Lifehouse, or worse yet, like a Nickelback, by playing some of these popish type songs. That's just not who they are. Disturbed is so much better of a band than that. And the problem is when bands hit it big on a song, like Disturbed did with Sounds of Silence, that was nuts how popular that song got. They take one of two directions. They either try to recreate it, which at first glance, this kind of seems like what they're doing here, or they completely change directions and say, okay, we did that, we climbed that mountain, time to move on to something else. So again, I would hate to see a band that's this good get caught up in just trying to recreate another song over again. All right, so let's keep going. I'm going to let this play to the end so I don't totally butcher up the song. So we'll let this go, and I'll be back after that. Oh, that second half was killer. That was really nice. I love the fact that they are trying to reinvent classic songs. I think they've done a number now of cover songs or recreations. Didn't they do like Genesis and somebody else? I can't think of it off the top of my head. If there was anything negative to say about this song, I would have to say that in a few spots, I think they kind of buried David's voice a little bit, which, why would you do that? He's such an amazingly strong, powerful singer. And I would have liked to seen him, at least in a couple spots, I would have liked to seen him like mic'd up a little bit more. With this guy, the music should never, ever overpower his voice. The guy's just too good. He's really the driving force of this band. And when they talk about top vocalists, this David should be near the top, but I don't think he is. I really think he's underappreciated by a mile. I love it, this song. I love it, but I'm not sure it's as breathtaking as Sounds of Silence was. Maybe less shocking, I guess. Maybe because it's kind of reminds me of it a little bit too much. I think they needed a little more metal. The last half had more, but I still would have liked to seen him kick it up just a little bit more. I think that would maybe give it a little more of an edge that I was kind of hoping for. We all fell in love with Disturbed because of their rock and roll, not because of their ballads. I'd like balance. I like a little bit of each, but I just, like I said earlier, I hope they don't just fall into this trap of singing slower songs. With all that said, I think this version kind of easily exceeded Sting's version. I don't even know if it was really close. I just think this was way better. David could probably sing a Taylor Swift song and make it amazing. Nothing against Taylor Swift. I know the Swifties are pretty tough. You don't want to insult Taylor. That wasn't an insult to Taylor Swift. It was just that it's completely different. This guy could sing anything. He's got a really versatile voice, which is amazing. So let me do this. Let me clean my screen off and let me get my act together here, and I will be back for my final thoughts. And I am back. I enjoyed that. I hope you guys did. That was nice. I've never heard a Disturbed song that I said, oh, that was a bunch of crap. They've always put out quality stuff. They do seem to be riding a bit of a cover train right now, if you will. Earlier I had said that they did a cover of Genesis, and I think the other band that they did a cover on was Tears for Fears. If you know of other ones, would you put a comment below? And I'm curious to know what other songs they cover. I haven't heard them, so I'm just not sure. It's hard to call this actually a cover because it is such a strong version of the song. It could be on its own. If Sting never sang the song, it would still be fine. So I really liked it. I thought it was great. I hate myself for constantly comparing songs like this now to Sounds of Silence. I wish I could put that out of my mind and just look at it on its own. But unfortunately, that's the comparison that's going to be made, I think, with everybody as they start coming out with songs that kind of follow the same format. I think someone even said once, and I think I mentioned it earlier, don't call it a cover, call it a reinvent. They reinvented the song, and I like that. So all in all, I thought the videography was good, the vocals were good, the band sounded fine. Again, the only real complaint I had, I wish a couple times they didn't bury David's voice, but I think it should have been more out front. So that's my official opinion on the song. Listen, guys, if you like my channel and if you like the stuff I'm putting out, please click the like button below. And if you would subscribe to my channel, that would be great. I'm officially 1 month into this now, so I'm kind of feeling my way through a lot of this stuff. And the more support I can get, the better it is for me. So thank you very much. That's it. I will be back probably in the next day or two with another reaction and another episode in Bob's Cabinet of Curiosities. I hope you like that. I enjoy doing stuff like that. Okay, guys, you have a great day. Peace out, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.